The chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Women Affairs, Honorable Kafilat Ogbara, has tasked the Ministry of Women Affairs and the Social Development, Imaan Sulieman-Ibrahim, to use the special creation of the ministry to better the life of Nigerian women. She said this during the 2026 budget defense session of the ministry before the House Committee on Women Affairs at the National Assembly Complex in Abuja, stating that the ministry is pivotal in addressing the multifaceted challenges facing women in the country. Honorable Ogbara says the committee will engage in any meaningful discussions regarding financial allocations that will support the critical work of empowering women and advancing gender equality in Nigeria. In her response, the minister will give an overview of the 2025 budget performance of the ministry before the committee says the ministry still needs more funding to meet its obligations.
As we know, the role of the Ministry of Women Affairs is pivotal in addressing the multifaceted challenges that women face across our nation. From issues of gender-based violence to economic empowerment, healthcare, and education. The ministry's initiatives are essential for fostering an inclusive environment where women can thrive. This budget performance and defense is not just a procedural obligation. It is an opportunity for us to scrutinize and understand how resources will be allocated to meet the pressing needs that the ministry has. The 2025 performance budget proposal presents us with a chance to evaluate the past performances, assess ongoing programs, and explore new initiatives that can further enhance the welfare of women in our nation.
And out of which only 394 million was so far released in our 2025 budget. And this represents 0.44% of our capital budget so far. So unreleased funds from our capital is over 2 billion from our overhead, and from the capital is 89 billion has not been released so far from our capital budget of 2025, which represents 99.56% of our capital budget, because only 0.44% was released so far, but we're still expecting 30% of what we have submitted, because they said that 30% will be released. And in the year, we had intervention of 450. Because of the delay in the releases of the budget, we applied for about 5 billion intervention, in which 450 million was approved for us. And so far, most of it has been utilized. We just have 47,000 left on that particular vote. And we generated about 4 million through tenders in 2025. I would like to move on to the 2026 budget proposal. Our personnel proposal is 2 billion 111 million 184,839 naira 0 kobo. Our overhead proposal is 810 million 959,739 naira 0 kobo. And our proposal for capital is 31 billion 286 million 122,060 naira proposal, a total of 134 billion plus. Honorable Chairman, members of the House of Representatives, Committee of Women Affairs, in conclusion, the 2025 budget performance reflects prudent management of release funds, particularly in personnel and overhead and in intervention expenditures, despite limited capital releases in 2025. Honorable Chairman, distinguished members, the proposed 2026 budget seeks to address these gaps and strengthen the ministry's capacity to deliver impactful programs for our women, our children, and the vulnerable population, and also to strengthen the family agenda of Mr. President. The ministry therefore
In a separate development and still on the 2026 budget defense session, the Comptroller General of the Service, Sylvester Nwakuche, says the awaiting trial inmates in the various correctional centers across the country constitute 64% of the total custodial population nationwide, underscoring the reasons for the persistent congestion and pressure on correctional facilities in the country. Nwakuche made the disclosure while presenting the agency's 2025 budget performance and the 2026 estimates before the House Committee on Reformatory Institutions. He described the Nigerian Correctional Service as a critical institution within the criminal justice system, responsible for custodial and non-custodial services, safe custodial of legally detained persons, as well as their rehabilitation and reintegration as law-abiding citizens. Earlier, Chairman of the House Committee on Reformatory Institutions, Honorable Chinedu Oga, called for urgent reforms in Nigeria's correctional system, including increased funding, improved infrastructure, and presidential assent to the Correctional Service Trust Fund Bill.
Is almost 70% of what is there in 2025, just carry over. That I haven't looked at it. It's not something necessary we should go further to start talking on it, that we should move ahead to adopt it and as a committee work towards it to know what we can achieve. Okay, thank you. Honorable colleagues, the Deputy Chairman, the Clerk, the CG with your team, haven't heard from my colleagues. We have heard all the requests. We went round. Each members of the committee contribute money in paying for release of inmates in various custodial centers, in Maiduguri, in Bayelsa, in Port Harcourt, in Aba, in Lagos. So many places we visited. And we go further to even buy some equipment for those that have finished their jail terms. That is to tell you how our committee are very committed. We have seen your requests. We are going to work with the appropriation. Thank God the chairman of subcommittee is here. We are going to work with the appropriation and the leadership. My colleagues made mention of you working with the executive. It's me that as the chairman know how far we have gone. Like sometimes 2 a.m., 3 a.m. we will not sleep where we are meeting with the executive, what can be done, making sure the right thing is done in the correctional service.
The 2026 budget proposal of 198 billion, 846 million, 197,163 naira for your kind consideration and approval. 2, I most respectfully make an appeal for the approval of an extra 90 billion, 379 million, 456,350 to be added to the capital budget, thereby increasing the capital allocation to 100 billion, 498 million, 187,835 in order to relatively address critical infrastructure and capacity building needs of the service.